Sousou no Frieren has a character depth problem. And the reason nobody talks about it is because the anime is too quiet, too beautiful, and too emotionally controlled for criticism to feel comfortable. Frieren doesn't scream its themes, it doesn't force drama, it doesn't beg for tears. Instead, it whispers. And for a lot of viewers, that whisper gets mistaken for depth itself. But atmosphere is not character development, and silence is not the same thing as complexity. Frieren, as a character, is intentionally distant. That's the point. She's an elf who outlives everyone she loves, and the series builds its entire emotional identity around that idea. Time passes. People die, memories fade. Frieren remains. On paper, this is powerful. In execution, however, the show often uses this concept as a replacement for active character progression instead of a foundation for it. Frieren doesn't grow so much as she reconsiders the same emotions over and over again, framed through different memories that ultimately lead her back to the same conclusions. The problem is not that Frieren is emotionally restrained, it's that her emotional restraint rarely escalates. We are shown that she regrets not understanding Himmel while he was alive. We are shown that she is learning to appreciate human connections. We are shown that time matters. And then we are shown those same realizations again, and again, and again. Each time with a new town, a new side character, a new short story, but with very little cumulative transformation. The result is a protagonist who feels emotionally aware, but not emotionally challenged. This is where many fans confuse consistency with depth. Frieren feels stable, grounded, and reflective, which makes her comforting to watch. But comfort is the enemy of tension. Character depth comes from friction, from internal contradiction, from moments where the character is forced to confront something that genuinely destabilizes them. Frieren rarely destabilizes. She observes, she reflects, she accepts, and then she moves on unchanged in any way that fundamentally alters her behavior. Fern suffers from a similar issue, but in a different way. Fern is positioned as Frieren's emotional counterbalance, more human, more reactive, more grounded. Yet her role quickly solidifies into emotional maintenance rather than development. She scolds, she worries, she stabilizes. And while that dynamic works early on, it becomes repetitive. Fern rarely gets desires that clash with the narrative's slow philosophy. She exists to reinforce the tone, not disrupt it, which makes her reliable, but not especially deep. Stark, meanwhile, is the clearest example of wasted potential. Introduced as a character driven by fear, insecurity, and avoidance, Stark appears primed for meaningful growth. But instead of pushing him into sustained conflict, the story repeatedly resolves his struggles quickly and softly. His fear is acknowledged, reassured, and then largely neutralized. There is no lasting consequence to his hesitation, no lingering failure, no unresolved flaw that follows him. Growth without cost is not growth, it's reassurance. What Sousou no Frieren consistently avoids is discomfort. Emotional discomfort, narrative discomfort, character discomfort. The series is beautifully curated to avoid extremes. Conflicts are brief, resolutions are gentle. Even death is framed with serenity rather than chaos. And while this makes Frieren emotionally soothing, it also limits how far its characters can evolve. They are not pushed, they are guided. This is why Frieren feels profound on a first watch and repetitive on reflection. The emotions are real, but they circle the same philosophical space. Time matters, people matter. You should cherish moments. These are true statements, but repeating truths is not the same as exploring them deeper. Depth requires contradiction. It requires moments where the theme is questioned, not reaffirmed. The danger for Frieren moving forward, especially in Season 2, is that audiences will begin to notice the pattern. New location, new memory, same emotional conclusion. When that happens, silence stops feeling meaningful and starts feeling empty. Atmosphere, without escalation, becomes stagnation. And stagnation, no matter how beautifully animated, eventually breaks immersion. This doesn't mean Frieren is bad. It means Frieren is safe. And safe storytelling ages poorly in long-form narratives. The question isn't whether Frieren is well written. It clearly is. The real question is whether it's willing to risk its own identity to let its characters truly evolve, or whether it will continue to protect them inside the same emotional framework forever. And that's where the character depth problem truly begins.